So you have a radar system installed, which means your lake water is well oxygenated all the way to the bottom. So the benthic invertebrates are thriving and bioturbating the organic sediment to make sure it's aerobic and well permeated with oxygenated water to ensure that all the microbes that the benthic invertebrates are farming to provide food for themselves can thrive. With conditions set and maintained like that, we apply catabolic enzymes to actively digest the organic matter in the sediment to boost the microbes, to feed the benthic invertebrates, worms, insects, zooplankton, that feed the fish and the birds, and maintain the nutrient clearing capacity of the lake to keep it clear of organic sediment accumulation and maintain water quality. Then what? What should you expect to see? How should it be measured? How do you know it's working? Bathymetric sonar scanning will tell you. Understand that before we do a bathymetric scan, we measure the level of the lake against a fixed reference point. Some reservoirs automatically measure lake elevation. They have devices that do that. And sometimes we measure the water level against the spillway. The reason we do this is so that if the lake is, say, an inch below the spillway this year, and then an inch above or 3 inches below next year, we can put that difference into the cloud-based software that does all the computation as an offset. So it can correct or normalize the data. So we're comparing apples with apples when we do the analysis. Let's look at the bathymetric data from Roland Lake in Virginia. Roland Lake is an irrigation reservoir and recreational lake, approximately 30 acres in size, and this was the bathymetric scan we did in October 2017 to establish a baseline benchmark to work from. You can see that what we do with the bathymetry is produce a contour map. The lines are at 1 foot intervals, so that gives us good insight into the depth profile of the lake, and we can draw a transect down the center of the lake and flip it to look at the lake in cross-section to see what it looks like from that point of view. So if we highlight the 2 foot contour in 2017, you'll see that the far right area of the lake, outlined in blue, is pretty much all less than 2 feet deep, except for a little bit of a hole there at the far end. If we draw a transect and look at the lake in cross-section, we can see that there's the 2 foot contour, and there is that hole that we see that goes a little bit deeper. If we go back and highlight the 5 foot contour, you'll see that there's not much deeper than 5 foot in the whole of the right-hand half of the lake. And if we put the 7 foot contour, you'll see it's very close to the 5 foot contour. When you get contours close together like that, it means you've got a pretty steep drop-off. And you can see it here, where the depth drops pretty rapidly from 2 feet to around about 10 feet. Now, let's compare how the lake looked in 2022, after 5 years of biodredging. We see the 2 foot contour in 2017 and compare it to where it was in 2022. And you can see how that whole shallow area of the lake has been opened up and deepened. Where there used to be a hole in the shallow area, that's completely disappeared because it has been biodredged away and the whole profile of the lake has completely changed. If we put in the 5 foot contour, you'll see how that has also extended more or less to the shoreline all the way around. And that's why if we put in the 5 foot contour in the profile view, you'll see that pretty much the whole lake is now 5 feet or deeper. If we put in the 7 foot contour in the 2017 and compare that with 2022, you can see how much that has expanded as well. The whole right-hand part of the lake that was 2 feet deep is now between 5 and 7 feet deep. And you can see the thin black line is the 6-foot contour between them. Another interesting thing to do is look at the 10-foot contour. The reason for that is because in 2017, when we did the initial bathymetric scan, the scan not only gives us the depth profile, it also gives us the density of aquatic vegetation. And as you can see, throughout the whole lake, anything less than 10 feet deep was completely taken over with invasive weeds growing in the invasive mucky organic sediment. Now, if we look at the 2022 scan, when we have digested away the organic muck in which those invasive weeds are growing, the invasive weed problem has dissipated and cleaned itself up more or less completely. That's because the nutrient-rich organic sediment that supports their growth has been biodredged away. So they've been deprived of the muck that they grow in. The other thing we can do is map this onto a Google Earth view of the lake. Here is the 5-foot contour, and we can see that in 2017, the area of the lake that was 5 feet deep or deeper is what is enclosed by that dotted line. If we look at 2022, the 5-foot contour has expanded dramatically, and you can see how the lake has opened up and deepened. We can lay the two over the top of each other, and we can see that the area 5 feet deep or deeper has more or less doubled. Another thing we can do with that bathymetric data is track it over time. We do a bathymetric scan every year at the same time of year. The first thing we can look at is the change in depth. And what we do is calculate the average depth and the maximum depth. The average depth is basically the volume of water divided by the surface area. And you'll see that in 2017, the average depth of the lake was 5.1 feet. We do that same measurement and calculation every year, and you'll see that by October 2022, the average depth of the lake had increased to 7.9 feet, and the maximum depth had increased from 17 to 20.5 feet. That means the overall change was 2.8 feet in average depth and 3.5 feet in maximum depth. Remember that the data is normalized every year against a fixed benchmark, so any change in water level can be adjusted for. Although at this reservoir, the water is pretty much always at the same level at the spillway. So we can also measure the volume of the water in the lake, and this is how we calculate the volume of sediment digested. We measure the volume of water in cubic yards. Any increase in the volume of water is the equivalent to the volume of sediment that is being digested and biodredged away. So in 2017, the reservoir contained 250,060 cubic yards of water. A year later, the volume of water had increased to 297,000 cubic yards, which meant the water volume had increased by 47,000 cubic yards, which means that the volume of sediment had been reduced by 47,000 cubic yards to accommodate that extra water. And we track that year by year. And we can see progressively how we've increased the water volume by decreasing the amount of sediment by biodredging it away. It's interesting to take a closer look at 2019 and 2020 because you'll see that the water volume hardly changed. Neither did the average depth. The reason for that was COVID. In 2020, because of COVID travel restrictions, the enzyme dosing could not be done, and therefore there was no further biodredging that took place. But once we resumed the enzyme dosing in 2021, the biodredging continued. So if we look at the volume in cubic yards in 2017 and compare it to 2022, we see we've increased the water volume by 138,000 cubic yards. So that increase in water volume is the amount of sediment biodredged away. So 138,000 cubic yards was dredged away. And if we do that calculation as a percentage, we've increased the water storage capacity of the reservoir by 55%. So that is biodredging in action at scale. It's cleaner, cheaper, and more sustainable than physically dredging all that muck and slime out and having to dispose of it by the truckload. It can reverse years of muck and sediment accumulation caused by algicide and chemical use. It's easy to measure and quantify vendor performance. So measure what matters by making sure that a bathymetric scan, a measurement of how much sediment you have biodredged away each year, is part of your lake management program. You'd be silly not to.